Alright folks, welcome to another installation of your mama's Wildlands. Between the holidays, work and everything else, I haven't had time, plus the weather's been awful on the weekends. I said I was going to do water treatment. Again, this is for when I will be building my trapper shack and we will need water. Closest source is the beaver ponds, and we all know that's just full of all sorts of nasties. I work for a wastewater treatment company, so I have engineers and everything else at my disposal. I'll go into a little bit of water treatment, what process I do, and why I will do it my way. So let's cover filters. Everybody's aware of the survival filters and all that. Now there's all sorts of stuff you want to filter out. There's bacteria, there is cysts, there's also all that kind of stuff. What a lot of the filters will not get is the viruses. Now, talking to the engineer, simplest solution, boil your water. It kills everything. Second simplest solution is that you chlorinate it, and that will kill everything. Just filtering it, again, you might end up with viruses. Although all the cryptosporidium and all that stuff will get filtered out. So my process will be a 4 or 5 level process, and it's not to necessarily filter out the nasties, although that's part of it. My main goal is to get water that won't taste like beaver pond. Gravity filter. So you start off with 2 5-gallon buckets with lids. On the Amazon, you can get ceramic filters. They're called, well, these ones are called Korea Ceramic, and they are actually made for gravity filters. There's a lot of stainless steel ones you can buy, high money ones, but again, I want to keep it simple and cheap. So a lot of them will use 2 or 3. I have gone with 2. My plan is to fill up 1 5-gallon overnight, let it filter into the other 5-gallon, and that should be enough for the day's use. So what other parts do I have? So I have 2 filters. I have a bulkhead fitting. Pick it up at any hardware store. It looks like it's 1-inch OD and your typical 1/2-inch NPT thread on the inside. I have a spigot, and again, 1/2-inch. I'll use some Teflon tape, and that will screw in so I can get my water out once it's filtered. I have and that's about as simple as it gets. So the first thing you want to do is make a hole for your filters, and that hole has to go through the bottom of 1 5-gallon, because that's where we put the dirty water in, and it'll filter out into the other 5-gallon pail, and that's where the clean one is. So this is pretty much how we do it. It's pretty tight fitting, and I would suggest you don't drill all the holes because there's a little bit of slop in there. So what we will do, we will drill 1 hole first. Now I've taken the nut off of my ceramic filter, and it comes with a washer, and I found a step drill bit which was perfect for this. So let's get going. One more word of caution. You always have to Measure twice, drill once. The bottom of there fits on the inside lip here, not the outside. So our filters are about 4 inches wide, so we have to go in about 2 1/4. That's what I'm shooting for. So I'm going to measure. I've made a mark here, so I am going to drill there. Okay. I am keeping the foam on the filter because you don't want it dirty. So let's do this. So this will just be a guide so that the other one will line up too. You can see it's coming through here. And I haven't installed the gasket yet, but I will. And this will be pretty much the way it is. Alright. So, when this goes through, you have to make sure you leave room for this guy. And I will keep some room that if I ever want to put a third one in, I can. So right now I'm just putting 2 in, and again I mark it at about 2 1/4. I would also suggest you wash all these. You wash all these before you start using them. All right. So now I'm going to install the gasket, and that goes on the inside. Just snug it up for now. Hopefully you can see that in. Now we'll grab my second ceramic filter. If you have any questions about water quality, water treatment, I'd be more than happy to pass them on to my engineer. Alright, so now you see we have the second one in, and there's room for one more. So now I'm going to put this on, and each set of filters that you order off of Amazon, you end up getting a scouring pad. So sometimes the outside of the ceramic filters will bind up. Just use a scouring pad, clean them up, and away you go again. Again, this won't see any heavy use because it is for the cabin, and it'll be seasonal. I'll probably pull this out once it gets below freezing, bring it home, clean it up, dry it up, put it away, and use it the next season. just because I don't want water to freeze in there and ruin the filters. Alright, so now we're going to put a lid on this guy, and we're going to put them off to the side. Alrighty. So this will be, by the way, these are food grade buckets. So that's maybe one thing you want to look for. What I notice when you're screwing the lid of one to the bottom of the other is that in some places they have little nibs from when they were injection molded. I have from electronics, I have a nice flat-sided cutter, and all what you do is trim those off, and away you go. Alright, now we have to install this. It's a backwards thread. It's a backwards thread, just to let you know. This is probably so it slides better, and then it has a nice big thick gasket. So the first thing we want to do is make sure that wherever we drill that hole, it's high enough so that this nut can go on the inside. And again, we measure. So that is about 3/8 plus the thickness. I almost have 5/8. Yeah. So again, I am lucky. I have a few tools around. I have another step bit, and I checked it out, and it's just about right. Just like that. So there we have it. I haven't put the back side on yet. And again, like I mentioned before, that the thread is backwards on these. And that nice thick gasket is wonderful for the curvature of the pail. Alright, so we have this guy. Teflon tape. Probably don't need it, it's low pressure. Again, everything is gravity. Okay, it doesn't have to be awfully tight because it should seal. Alright. Once I'm done, I will rinse all this stuff out. there you have it. Now, alright, and I will use an old undershirt or an old t-shirt and strain all the bigger particles out, all the tadpoles, whatever else is in the water out. At that point, I will use household bleach. You can get the amount to add on the internet, and I will add a certain amount of drops. Contact time 15-20 minutes, stir it around, make sure that the chlorine or the bleach has a chance to work. After that, I will use 2 pails and put the water back and forth to aerate it a bit. This will help dissipate some of the bleach. Then after that, it will go into this. Now I have one other secret, and that is this RV filter. So this will get rid of the remaining bleach. This will get rid of a lot of the taste. So this primarily is a carbon filter. And the nice thing about it, it is meant for RVs, so it is meant to be put away wet and not used all the time, which a lot of times will build bacteria. But I believe it has something inside of it which retards the buildup of bacteria and everything. So this pretty much screws right on there. I don't know whether you can see it, but it screws right onto the top portion. So I will have a complete system, and they advertise this as you will get the same taste as bottled water. We'll see. I can once I use this coming spring, I will let you know whether it does taste like bottled water. So that's my little setup. Again, you can see it doesn't take much to put it together. It helps to have someone with some drill bits, although that shouldn't be an end all. Use a hole saw. I ended up widening the hole with a knife. So buckets are about $5 a piece. The tap is $10. This actually, the bulkhead, surprisingly, I think was about $15 or $16. This unit is $34. You can get them cheaper on Amazon, but it's going to last all season long. So to have palatable water, it's worth the $34. And again, it should last me all season. Yeah, so I can pretty much overnight get 5 gallons of fresh, clean drinking water, and that should be enough for what we're doing. And again, if we have extra buckets around, I can empty the drinking water, refill the top one, and away we go again. So, and you have to keep in mind, I'm using beaver pond water, which by the fall isn't necessarily the best water, but I think with my process I should pretty much end up with half decent quality water. Definitely bacteria, cryptosporidium, virus free. And again, as I mentioned right at the beginning, you can boil your water and avoid all this and drink it, and all you have to worry about is taste. You can use just the bleach, and again, you can drink it after that. Contact time, I think, is somewhere around 15 to 20 minutes. Stir it around. But I have my wife to worry about, and if we have palatable water, you know, it's an extra bonus for being in the middle of nowhere. And again, it's all manual, so we don't have to worry about pumps. Yeah, so I'm figuring I'm going to grab about a 5-gallon bucket a day. That should give us enough for drinking and maybe a few other things. Alright folks, thanks for tuning in. I still have to do my perimeter alarm. Been hoping to film this around dusk because I have a few specially loaded alarms where I put some of my magnesium in, and it should hopefully give a flash. That's coming up, and hopefully I'll be able to do that in a couple of weeks. I did record a winter trip, but again, it's one of those hour-long ones, which I'm sure nobody wants to see me walking around the snow. So, shorter one. We actually accomplished something. Yeah. So, hopefully I'll bring more of these, what to do and how to do it, and we'll be talking to you soon.